Welcome to the Life, Love, Everything podcast. I'm your host, Tasmin Bota. I am so excited to welcome our next guest onto the podcast. The first time I came across her profile on Instagram, she was talking about motherhood and mental health. And you know, me, being me, I took a deep dive. What was refreshing to see was that here was a mom of color, openly speaking about her challenges. But not only did she do that, she spoke about overcoming them and doing so much more. She is a wife, a mom, an author, a mental health advocate, social media influencer, and podcaster. Please help me give a warm welcome to, and also now my alumni sister, Karabo Mokoena, or as you may know her from social media, Black Moms Chronicles. Welcome, Karabo.
Hey, Tasmin, thank you. So much love in an intro. I love it so much.
We have to give justice. You know, many times, especially as women, we are never given our flowers. So we need to do that. And I mean, you have done such amazing work. And I'm so excited to dive into it that, yeah, I have to give you your flowers because you are doing the most and I love it.
Oh man, thank you. That also speaks life into us as like content creators, like hearing that your work is actually meaningful, like kind of keeps fueling you to want to make a difference through like the storytelling that you're doing. So I appreciate it.
Oh man, that is so awesome. So I didn't want to give too much away. I thought I'd allow you to do it yourself for
Yeah.
those that aren't too au fait with you. Would you give us a bit of a background about yourself?
Okay, so as you said, like I'm 33. I am a wife. I've been together with my partner now for 14 years, like a literal child.
Wowza.
Together 14 years and married now for 4. And we are, raising 2 children together. My eldest daughter is 7, and my youngest is 3. Girl mom vibes.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, we've been journeying through life together for some time now. And I am a writer. I love storytelling so much. It's something I didn't go to school for. I actually studied politics. But that passion for storytelling that I had as a kid really caught on to me after I became a mom. I was working in recruitment at the time, and I was really enjoying my work. But then after I gave birth to my eldest, like something in me kind of moved, man. I was like, wait, wait, wait. Let's think about this. Because like I had just started going back to the office, right? I was based in Sandton, and I was calculating the amount of time I'm spending just away from home. Like I'm sitting in traffic from 7 in the morning. I'm
Mm.
late, like really late in the evening, and I'm like, I had FOMO, okay? I had FOMO. I was like, wait, I feel like I need to be around a little more. Like that separation just felt like an injustice for me as like a mother and a woman. And I just felt the need to kind of do something about it. And I think at the time I had already started writing social, like sharing. I'm a sharer. I was kind of already on social media just as Karabo Mutsiri at the time, unmarried, and just connecting with a community of friends. And then I thought, you know what, I'm already sharing so much about my parenting journey. Let me do it as a thing. Let me create a blog. Let me make it a thing. And the word Black Mom Chronicles came up because I was a Black mom and I'm a storyteller, so that's where the chronicles comes from. And I just started sharing, and I was just venting online at the time, really, because I found that motherhood was just so tough. Oh my gosh, like it overwhelmed me so much. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I was feeling so lonely in it as well. Like, and I would generally feel like I was a lot more empowered, at the time, like during my pregnancy, what to expect. after birth, because I had the privilege of medical aid. You can do these prenatal classes. I could access that information that made me feel like I was empowered, like what to expect during breastfeeding. I had that kind of support, but still, like it felt like really overwhelming. Really, really overwhelming. So I got online and I started trying to kind of create a community for myself, because I'm like, I'm not the first woman to, like, have a child,
Yeah.
but I also imagined what it feels like to be a mother without the privilege that I had at this
Mm,
point in my life as well. And I thought, like, it's really important for us to tell these stories about, like, these everyday things that we don't always get an opportunity to talk about as women, as mothers. And the space has really just grown into not only being about venting that I was doing, but I kind of saw the gaps in kind of my own self, where my own healing has to happen. And it really just got me into the world of talking so much more about mental health and conscious parenting, because, like I said, like, it was tough. It was really lonely, and it was really, really triggering as well.
mm,
But then I had like a different idea about what this experience could actually be calling me to do as a mother. Why am I feeling so triggered by this? Why is it feeling so lonely? What is it teaching me about myself as well? So I think telling that story about how I'm navigating it really just brought me into such a big world of, like, conscious parenting and talking about maternal mental health from a perspective of women and mothers. And that's what I've been doing now with the platform, and it's been really incredible. It's been really hard, because this is stuff that really requires you to be vulnerable.
yeah.
And it's not always such, like, vulnerability is not always such an easy thing that people can do. But it's a necessary thing also. So I think for me, this is what vulnerability kind of looks like, because you just try to inspire, like, other people. You just kind of try to be able to tell the stories of people that are unable to tell their own stories. So that's a long introduction, but that,
I
that's
love it because it really speaks of the essence of you and how, we connected. I mean, again, it's the one thing that I really, really, really love about social media is
yeah,
that it took away, I don't know if the rose-colored glasses are the right word to use, but it
yeah,
took it away. Like, I love the fact that women have started talking about these issues, because really, having a child, and I think I spoke about it in the last episode, having a child changes every fiber of your being, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially. And, like, people just think I mean, going through the whole pregnancy journey itself is already, like, so life
yes,
altering. And then
yes,
you give birth, just the birthing experience is another side of it. And also,
right.
depending on how that birthing experience works out. And then
Yeah,
2 minutes
yeah.
later, after you're done, they're like, here's a human being for you to take care of for the rest of its life. There you go.
24/7. 24/7. You have this 24/7 project. I always say, like, I'm like, your organs had to move. Like, your organs had to move to just accommodate a new life growing in you. Like, if we can't live in a society that acknowledges, like, what a huge job that is, then we're in trouble, man, because it's a huge job.
Exactly, exactly. And the fact that you are expected to pick up and continue with life as if nothing has changed is
Yeah.
mind blowing. So, when
Yeah.
you talk about the mom guilt and the juggling of a career
Yeah.
versus being wholly present for your children, I
Yeah.
don't think that there's a mom that does not experience that. And
Oh, yeah.
some do not have the luxury, kind of like we do, in being able to take a step back, or in being able to find other avenues or other ways of getting resources.
Yeah.
They just have to, I mean, when I think about it, like my eldest sister with her last child, due to financial reasons, literally went back to work after 6 weeks. I could not even do it after 4 months. I didn't want to. I couldn't physically, mentally, emotionally. So to think that she was able to do that because she didn't have a choice and
She
because
had to.
society does not value
Yeah.
the importance of
Yeah.
that whole journey, lots of moms are just like,
Yeah.
thrown. I feel like thrown by the wayside. Like, you got
Yeah.
it, carry on. It's
Yeah.
natural. And I
Yeah.
think that's why a lot of more moms are now, because people like you are speaking up, are able to acknowledge that, hey, something's not feeling right.
Yeah.
Um, you
Yeah.
know, and now there are people that I can reach out to, because a lot of the time we are also made to, we need to just keep quiet and sit
Yeah.
in our little corner and
Mm.
continue on with life. Whether you can or you can't, that's your problem and no one else's problem.
Mm.
So thank
Yeah.
you for
Yeah.
providing a safe space, because I feel like even if a lot of times as women, we are scared to maybe go to like a clinician or a psychologist or a social worker, but I
Yeah.
would feel more comfortable reaching out to you like, hey Karabo, this is what's going on, and you'd be able to at least guide me and point me in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like, I'm such an advocate for peer-to-peer support.
Yeah, man. Those intimate relationships that you can navigate like without feeling judged by someone. I think that would, yeah. Hey, it's a whole conversation, hey,
On
because
its
I mean,
own.
yeah, because even working environments are like, not really suited for moms. Like I remember the one job that I worked at, and my daughter got like really sick, and we had to rush to the hospital that morning. And it was like a whole put like the doctor really scared us with like a potential diagnosis. So I was like really stressed out, and we're doing all these scans, and I had spoken to my manager beforehand, and kind of during the stay at the hospital, kind of updating. And the one text I got back was, so what time should we expect you in the
Yeah.
office? Are you kidding me? Are you for real? Are you for real? So when you also work in environments like that don't
Yes.
feel like they understand like your circumstances, or like by virtue of you being a mother,
Yeah.
it's also really tough. Like it makes it so much more complex for us as well. I think that's what feeds to the guilt as well, is that, there's no flexibility whatsoever, because motherhood requires a lot of
A
flexibility.
lot, a
A lot
lot.
of flexibility. And
And
I think what I found with me was like, as like a conscious parent, where like, being kind and, being patient is like such a priority for me with the kids. That stuff requires time,
yes.
I was trying to be patient through like morning routine this morning, and I'm like, girl, I really don't want to play, but like, I know playing is gonna get us to kind of move without me having to like, get upset and be like, hey, let's go. But when
Yeah.
you're working, like you have to
Have
move
to.
through it. You have to kind of move through it. So the system makes it really tough to be a mom. So I think
Very tough.
we're speaking to our challenges as well.
You've hit such a nerve, because that was also one of the very big reasons why I left my previous employment, which I was at for such a long time. I went there as a girl fresh out of high school,
Yeah.
and gave my all, my everything to that company, and they did not realize when the switch had flipped. When I became a mom, they still expected me to be able to work crazy hours, be readily available at all times. And then environment was so toxic. Like when you're talking about having to take your child to work, I had to go to work while I was literally experiencing a miscarriage. That has to be like one of the worst things I have ever experienced in my life. And so, these things only come with age and with experience, where you realize that, hey, some things are just not okay. But at that time, I was just so worried that I'm a mom and I need to provide for my child. So if it means that I have to go back to work because this is what these people are expecting me to do, then that's what I'm going to do. But I feel like Tasmin now would be like, you can take your job and put it where the sun don't shine.
Nope. And I think that's why it's so important as to do the work that we're trying to do of just kind of creating awareness, because I think sometimes what people just need to hear is just a word that says it's actually not right. Now
Yes.
your perspective is influenced quite positively. I remember I did a couple of posts a while back on breastfeeding, and I think I even created it as an article, just your rights as
Yes.
a mother where breastfeeding is concerned, because it's such a thing. We already live in a society where you have to kind of hide yourself when you're trying to breastfeed your child. So in the workplace, it's like really bad. Like,
It's
women
terrible.
women are pumping in like bathroom stalls because there's really no facility for them to do this. And we want to do this. Like, the last thing that we want is for us to not be able to feed our children
Yeah.
because, we had to work. What a layer of just guilt that you're just giving me.
Yes.
So I'm trying to avoid that. So I'll go pump in my car, I'll go pump. But it's like, it's not,
Yes. It's
so
not
now
100%.
I put together that article, and that's why just these spaces are so important, because like you have so many women that are like, oh snap, I didn't know I could advocate for myself like that.
But
You
sometimes
know?
even with that, I feel like when you've empowered and you have the knowledge and you present the knowledge, the
Yeah.
system still remains rigid. Because
Yeah.
it's so funny, that also happened with me with my last baby. They told me to go and pump in the bathroom, and I said I am not doing that. So I pumped at my open plan desk, and we all will feel uncomfortable. How about that?
Mm-hmm. You need to advocate
Because
for yourself. You need to
yeah,
advocate for yourself.
it's,
I think that's a thing with like just systematic inequalities,
yeah,
about how people have to kind of move through that, because it's like systematically nothing is changing.
yes.
Still so hard to be a Black mother trying to raise Black children in this world, and trying to, explain a Kwekwe situation to
Yeah.
a child, about like what being a 7-year-old Black girl could eventually turn into. That's a society that we
Mm,
still have to raise our children in, but it's like just moving past the pain. Like, we're just constantly moving past like just pain. But like, I think motherhood is the least place that should happen, because like we're influencing other people. Now we're creating these cycles where our children see certain things kind of normalized, and they perpetuate kind of the same. So we've got,
do you
it's a
not
lot.
do you not find that it's even more hard now that we are like trying to create these better lives for our children? So that
Mm,
entails us moving out of we've moved out of the townships, we're now
yeah.
living in suburbia, and you are still misplaced living in
Mm,
suburbia. Like, I speak to my
yeah.
husband about it all the time. I'm like, we're raising boys,
Yeah.
and they are colored boys. So the minute people look at them, their very first impression, they're not looking at the area code where they're living. They're not looking at what cars their parents are driving. They see a colored male child and they instantly think, oh, there's a gangster.
Uh, but that's so crazy, Taz, because it's also black on black, hey? It's not even just white people looking at
Yeah,
us.
that's so
Like
true.
like we have a 19-year-old boy in our house that recently started staying with us, and already like we had an issue with the complex. There's people that
Mm,
to, and our boy was like the number one suspect. Like,
oh
I
my
had to sit
gosh.
at that meeting and kind of restrain myself from saying, "Are you mad?"
You see, and then you have to like you have to still control yourself. You don't want to bring out the ghetto, because I can go from zero to ghetto real fast.
So
Like,
you,
don't let the area code fool you. I hate it, but I hate
so
it because
yeah.
you're
It's
trying.
just navigating through a lot. Like, I honestly don't like raising children in like I'm in Joburg North, and like, oh, it's such a difficult culture. I think if I wasn't part of a church community, like, it would feel so lonely. So I think it's our church community that still makes us feel like we're plugged into community, because there's really no sense of community in these parts of like the world.
Yes.
So that's why it's so easy to look at people like they're suspects, because you don't really know them also, and you're not even making an effort to know them. You can be a person that goes to the gym and decide not to just greet people. Everyone is just kind of minding their own business. Yeah.
Business, true.
So it just makes your navigating life so tough. Community, you know,
Yeah.
community is important.
The
That's what
village has disappeared, and that's why we are having to create our own villages now.
Definitely. We were having a chat about that in my previous interview. I had like such a dope Metro FM interview, and talking
Oh,
to like national radio. It was so exciting.
nice.
We were talking about how now we're even having to pay for community. Like
True.
when you have the privilege, it's like now we're having to get nannies, and if you have lots of money, like au pairs, and kind of delegate
Yeah.
that, because there's so much to delegate. It's like, I don't know if you can completely free yourself from parenting.
Never.
Yeah,
Even when
like,
we're grown, you still won't be able to free yourself.
there's no complete freedom from it, but I think there's a delegation of certain tasks that come with
Oh, yeah, for
parenting
sure.
motherhood, that you can like let other people do it. Because I think what generally overwhelms us is that we grew up in a society that made us feel like it's everything is your job.
100%.
Everything is your job. Everything is your job. So now you have to navigate through. And I've seen people do it, man. I've seen people do it. We've seen our mothers do it. They've probably seen their mothers do it. So it's possible. It's possible
But at
to
what cost?
exactly,
They never
exactly,
ever spoke to us about the mental load,
exactly.
and who knows how their mental health was. And back then, it wasn't one or two children; it was multiple upon
Yes.
multiple children. Like, I don't know. It takes a lot to raise multiple children because they require different things at
Yeah.
different times on the same day. You literally are a chameleon throughout
The
the
same
day
time.
at
At
the
the
same time.
same time, Tess. That's my biggest pain now with two children. That's why I'm like, the thought of a third one is like, oh my gosh, imagine all three of them calling me at the same time. It's like,
Dude, it's a lot.
now I have to be a coach. Like, okay, hold. Asante, Timo was trying to tell us something. Let's listen.
Yes.
Timo,
Literally, that's what it is.
what were you saying? And then you find that the 3-year-old just wants to like mimic something she was saying. So she actually had absolutely nothing to say. Okay. Hey, so yeah, multiple children. I don't know how they did it. I really don't know how they
Right?
did it,
I wish
but
they had
they,
been honest about it. I don't think I would have had three, honestly, because it is a lot. It is a lot. But
no.
hey, that's why we're having these conversations so people can make informed decisions.
Yeah, man. Ish. Yeah, we have very different capacity, and I think for me, my mental health story where motherhood is concerned comes from exactly that perspective, to say that like there's just certain load that
Mm,
becomes really overwhelming, because like I think we were having a chat on Saturday just about the resentment that comes with it.
100%.
Because as a woman, and because me and my partner have been together for so long, so we've kind of seen each other through a lot of kind of life stages, right?
Yeah,
Then we get
different
into,
seasons and
for sure,
eras.
yeah, and then we get into parenting together, and then I'm seeing all the ways in which my life has changed, and then I
Mm,
just look at you and it looks like things are still pretty much the same. I think this is what gives guys this false sense of thinking that they can just not do it, choose not to do it, like they can just walk away.
yeah.
They can
Mm,
absolutely just walk away and let you parent by yourself. It gives them that kind of false sense. So there's just been that thing in society where it's like it's just the mom's thing. And for me,
yeah.
it feels like such an injustice. An injustice, I don't like it. It doesn't sit very comfortably in my body. I like it's I don't it's it feels unfair. So we kind of try and try and move through that, but it's so difficult to try and like show people it's not right.
100%. And it's a conversation that unfortunately you continuously having to
Yeah.
have with your
Oh.
partner. So, oh my gosh, I think after the conversation on the weekend, I came back because, like I told you guys, I got home and my house looked like a tornado had
Oh
been
my
through it. And I was
God.
like, really? Really? Like, could nobody think that can't we just pick up a couple of things? And so, like, the conversation was
No.
had to be had again. And
Yes.
you really don't want to be the nag bag all the time.
Yes, but you have to advocate for yourself. You have to, I think that's what Mapula's the other lady that we met from in the fellowship this past Saturday. I think Mapula just advocates. I was listening to her speak and the way she just advocates for yourself. And I think we all just kind of believed in that
True.
importance to advocate for yourself. Like I shared something to this effect on social media not too long ago. I think it was around Mother's Day, just about how you have to give yourself the license to rest because no
Mm,
one is going to give it to you. They
that's so
enjoy
true.
you always on the move. You just make it easier. Why would they
That is so
choose
true.
not to make their life easier? you know,
Yeah,
if
that
you
is so
don't,
true.
you don't choose to be like, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop. Like, this house is messy and maybe I'm tired and I just really need to take a nap. And it's like, I'm just going to take that nap. I'm going to wake up. They would have decided to pick up stuff or not to, but it's like that job is gonna be waiting for me anyway. When like if you don't
True.
like this is what I'm
Yeah.
going through my mental health journey. Oh, Taz, like there's a point in my life where I hit completely rock bottom with my mental health. Like I had a
Good.
major I had a major depressive episode at one point in my life. And when I looked back at
Yeah.
what took me to this point, it's like, okay, so like you don't matter in the equation. Like,
Mm,
and I think at that point, I was at a point where I had to go to work with my second daughter. I had to go to work when she was around 2 months old. You were having
oh
a
yeah.
conversation with
Yeah. Oh
and I
no.
had no choice. I had absolutely no choice. Like we really needed the money. We really, really needed the money. And it's like,
Oh
okay, I
man.
have to go. And like there were so many other things happening at that point in my life. And it was a 3-month contract. And at the point we were trying to renegotiate for like more work, like my body just completely shut down. It's like I hit completely rock bottom. And I think what that journey, what my admission just taught me is the importance of just choosing yourself.
Mm. Wow. Wow.
If
Because I think
choosing
we've been
yourself.
conditioned as women to always give, right? Never to receive. So you're always giving, giving, giving of yourself. And I feel that it's so sad that it has to get to a point whereby your body physically just can't anymore. Because
Yeah,
that has been my situation as well. Like it was just like, no, ma'am, if you are, I'm not a machine. So if you're
yeah,
not going to take a break willingly, I'm going to have to force you to take the
yeah,
break. And the fact that having a
yeah.
hospital admission felt like the best holiday I had been on in my life is
Oh,
wild.
girl. I like that experience for me was like so cool. I had never really been on a holiday by myself. So
Right?
it felt like, a holiday by myself. And I think this makes it looks like it's a glamorous thing. It's really not. Like
It's
it took
not, no.
it's a lot of work to sit through like 2 weeks of like that kind of admission. And I think it was in the thick of COVID
Oh
for
my
me.
goodness.
So visitations were like not a thing, so I couldn't really see the kids.
Oh,
I was still breastfeeding at that point, and like I advocated for myself. I was like, we're going to make it happen because like storing it was like a challenge, it
so
was.
take us back a bit. Like what was that I want to breaking point, and did you decide I need to get myself checked into a facility?
So I think there's a couple of things. So I'll tell you about the actual trigger. And then um I'll tell you about the time kind of leading to the trigger, right?
Mm.
Um was I'm I'm quite familiar with depression, right? And the symptoms of it. And I know when I'm really struggling with depression, I start experiencing suicidal thoughts.
Okay.
So when that now becomes like an everyday thought for me, like an everyday consideration, I'm like, okay, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. But I was working at that time.
Mm.
So it's like I'm experiencing these thoughts kind of on the background, because the reality is I still have, I'm
I
still
have
in kind of
responsibilities.
mode. I'm still on this contract and I still have to kind of fulfill these responsibilities. So also the adult and mom in me is still kind of
Mm.
do that work. And then it was the actual conversation about the, kind of renewing my contract, that became like that focal point of being like, okay, I really need to go get help. Like I
Okay.
now have to do it. I don't have a choice. Because like I broke down in the office. Like I was late for the meeting. It was a bit of a chaotic morning. Like I told you, I can't drill soldier. Can't be a morning. So I was late. I was late that morning for the meeting, and I found them waiting for me, and I sat down, and she looked at me and she asked me like, how are you? Oh,
That question. Sure. Yeah.
broke me. It absolutely broke me. Like I couldn't even like talk after that. I was like, you know what? We had to have a conversation. I'm like, when I was calm, been
Mm.
really struggling. I've been really struggling. You see me out here, killing it, because I was killing it, man. It was like one of the biggest. It was at a point of one of the most biggest highlights of my career, like
Wow.
as a mommy blogger. Like I was absolutely killing it. Doing live like social media lives every day. Having to talk to people, and I did all of that, but I would realize what a huge mask it was, because
Mm.
I would go back home and I'm like, oh, I'm so sad. Like, oh, oh,
Oh,
and
man.
home is the one place where you can't really wear the masks. Like
Yeah.
it does come off. Man, but now it feels like your family's getting like, the bad stuff. It's like out
Yes.
there, pretend that you're okay and you're killing it, but in here you can't. So it just makes you like so difficult to connect to. And I wasn't even able to play with the kids as much. Like
Mm.
my daughter was still so young, and I was struggling to even comfort her, as
Oh,
like she
man.
could sense the anxiety that I had, and like just, and
Mm.
that was difficult. That was, we still had a nanny at that point, and like watching my infant be comforted by our help and me struggling to do that was like, oof, no, I need to sort this out. I need to sort this out. But I'm like, I can't sort it out here.
Yeah.
How I told the story afterwards was like I was feeling like this constant boxing match that I was having with life, but like my home was like exactly that
The ring.
that for me. There was the ring. The ring. I really had to get myself out of the ring, and I was kind of familiar with the work Akiso does, with the mental health space. So there was that
Yeah.
familiarity. So on the day, it was actually the last day of mental health awareness. It was the
Oh,
31st of
wow.
3 years ago. And after that meeting, called them. I called them and I was like, I'm struggling with depression right now, and I need help. And the ladies at reception were like, really cool and really understanding. I already knew that. I already sorted out my stuff with medical aid to kind of check, because the medical aid that I was on gives you 21 days. So that was just my breaking point. And yeah, it happened just as it needed to. And just being in there kind of gave me the awareness of myself that I needed to be able to kind of navigate better. And it's like an everyday thing, man,
Yeah.
when you get out of there. Because the challenge with being there is that you're in a bubble. You're in a little cute bubble. And then you come out and your environment is
Back
still the
in
same.
real life.
The
Yeah.
hope that in the bubble, you have really gathered enough tools to help you navigate so much better outside. It's like your environment might not change, but you can. So
Yeah.
it's like, have I learned enough to be able to, and it's not an instant thing. Like now it's a time to actually go out there and use the tools to kind of develop yourself better so that you don't have the same reactions to the same thing, all the time. And I think that's why I love the topic of conscious parenting. That's why I believe in it so much and I talk so loudly about it, because I think what motherhood can do, just parenting, not just motherhood, what parenting does is it shows us those parts of ourselves that we still need to kind of work on. And I think that's the gift. I think that's the gift of parenting, because you find that your children trigger you so much. Like our children make us really upset.
This is true.
Our children really upset us. But what if there's actually absolutely nothing wrong with them, and it's
Yeah.
just how their behavior is making us feel? That's
Yeah.
problematic. Because the kid is not asking you to be pissed off because they're acting in a certain way. They're not
Mm.
trying to elicit that kind of reaction from you. That's all you.
True.
That's all you.
That is so true.
I know it's tough. I'm struggling with it on an everyday basis. But because I already have that perspective, it creates a curiosity when you are in the boxing match to be like,
Mm.
okay, you're throwing a punch. Okay, what could this mean? Am I throwing one back? Am I ducking? It's like a
Yeah.
constant thing. But parenting is just really, it's really, for me, it's just God's way of mirroring myself back to myself. Because I
Mm.
know personally, for me, I've got so much that I need to heal from. Like,
Yeah,
oh
that
my
is so
gosh,
true.
I personally had a really tough childhood. Oh my gosh. Like I'm writing a book right now that's giving me a perspective of myself that I've never really considered before, because all I could really remember from my childhood is like really just difficult stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of that happened. So what this project is helping me do is be like, okay, it wasn't all bad. Now I'm kind of embracing the positive aspects of my story and kind of sharing it as I go. So I'm on this current, kind of rewriting of my story. That's really cool. But it's just also showing me how much pain I actually had and how much healing I actually have to move through that. But my kids are really helping me with that so much, because they'll do something that makes me remember a time in my life where that was happening. And it's healing. Like, could this be the right approach? Because we sometimes become our own parents so much, and we forgot how tough
Yeah.
to be a child in our houses. We're doing the same stuff.
This is true.
That's
Oh
the way.
man, sure. I think we have touched on so many important things, but there's definitely one thing that I really wanted to talk about as
Yeah,
well. That you speak about is about your journey of faith and
yeah,
how that integrates into being a wife and being a
yeah,
mom. So will you
yeah.
give us a little backstory on that? I think I'm starting to learn how to speak more about my faith journey because I'm a very spiritual person. Like my relationship I feel with God is like we are homies, but it's not something that I often talk loudly about, which I'm
Yeah,
learning to do. So I would
yeah.
love to hear, how do you navigate that? How does it play into your marriage and into you
Oof,
being a mom?
oof, it's everything. It's like my biggest anchor. It's like my biggest anchor. Yeah. It doesn't make life less painful, but it
Mm,
it makes it more easier and way more peaceful. I'm a church girl through and through. Like I um I was raised in the same church since I was a child. So that has always been such an anchor for me. And even though as a kid you don't navigate with kind of a proper understanding, really,
yeah.
essentially, I'm seeing it with my own kids now. Timo is 7, and um I would assume that the relationship that she's trying to have with us is as close as like a godly relationship that you could learn,
Mm,
because she really doesn't really understand the concept of
yeah.
God and spirituality. So I would assume that's kind of how it happened for me. But then, as I grew up, I realized what a gift that was for me, because I lost both my parents quite young.
I'm
My
sorry
dad
to
I
hear that.
lost my dad I lost when I was 13, and my mom I lost like a few days before I turned 16.
Oh
So
man.
by my sweet 16, I was orphaned and without an anchor,
Mm,
because that's what your parents are primarily, you know. But my continuation in the church and in the activities of the church and in that community really helped me not feel like I was an orphan,
oh man.
that
I love
concept
that.
that concept of a father in heaven has just always been a constant for me. And
Oh wow.
it's really just through, just going to church and being connected with, like as a Sunday school child and as a youth member, even just as an adult, you have like a vessel of blessing. You have a priest that you can be in relationship with. And being overwhelmed by something or being in trouble and being able to talk to someone that
Mm,
can remind you what scripture says about it, or how Jesus navigated it and how you could navigate it with a more, you know, with a more spiritual perspective of what your situation is. It's really just kept me plugged in for my entire life. It's really just been my biggest anchor. It's made like healing possible as well, because I think
mm,
that's a really important thing. That's really just one of God's promises of healing. And he knew exactly what he was talking about. Like, he created this thing because he created the heavens and the earth. So it's like you already understand that there's strife in the world. That's why he
mhm.
sent Jesus Christ as well, because he already, there's nothing new happening under the sun. This is what this is what we just learn, is that the same stuff that the Israelites went through are the same thing
Mm,
going through right now. So it keeps me so grounded to be like, okay, so if I'm going through this kind of strife right now, what happened, what happened in scripture, what's the story, and
yeah.
what goes from it. And it's kept me so empowered to remind me that nothing lasts forever. This is where I've just acknowledged that life happens in seasons, but
Yeah.
also God is such a constant in all those seasons as well. Conscious parenting for me is just one of the most godly ways to parent, because if I believe in God, then I believe in the Spirit of God, and the Spirit has fruit.
Yeah.
The fruit of the Spirit is love and kindness and gentleness. So this is really just the stuff that God has called us to do. So I try and just implement that in my life on a daily basis. But my advocacy also is just based on that. One of the biggest purposes of just, being God's child is just, talking about God's story quite openly,
Mm,
just sharing your testimony about your life. That's how you preach the gospel. It's like, what are you preaching? I think for me, the storytelling about my life is really just such a testimony of just
mm.
how good God has been in all phases of my life. With all the challenges, here we are now, and I'm like, there is no way I did this by myself.
100%.
It's always so important for me to say that. I was actually having a conversation with a brother from church, who started now being familiar with my work. There's a little mistake that they did at Power FM when I had an interview recently, and they wrote my name as advocate Karabo, because I said I'm a mental health advocate. I'm like, okay, let's go. So he comes to me and asks, hey, are you a lawyer? I'm like, oh no, I'm not. But I've seen some of the interviews. And he asked, are you writing a book right now? Like, I think the best form of books that I like, the best book that I read is the Bible. This is what he says to me. But I said to him, I'm like, you know what? I think my book is a testimony, essentially, of what God has done for me. So it'll be a form of a Bible for you, just like an
Oh,
extra story off of that, because that's, oh man, I couldn't, like, I wouldn't have come this far. I think there's a
Yeah.
song that goes like that. I really wouldn't have come this far if it wasn't for God. So he's kept me so grounded. But the work that we do with the church as well is just so powerful. Like we are responsible for each other. We're responsible.
Mm.
So that requires us to have relationships with people, to go sit down. Power cells. I'm that girl. That girl on Mondays and Thursdays. I'm at a power cell. On Tuesday we had choir
Oh,
practice.
wow.
Wednesday we're breaking bread because it's our daily bread, so we have to consume it on a daily basis.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, that's what keeps me powered.
I love that. Okay, we're gonna change it up slightly because you
Okay.
recently did a thing and you
Okay.
entered the Mrs. South Africa
Hey, hey.
competition, and I was like,
Oh
"Yep,
my
that's
gosh.
our Mrs. South Africa." Like I was living
Like, y'all were
vicariously
ready.
through you.
Y'all were done. Y'all were like, okay, we have our Mrs. South Africa.
Yeah, we're like, there is Mrs. South Africa.
My community blew my mind, Taz. I'm like, wait, y'all are so happy for me. Oh my gosh. Oh, that love. Oh my gosh. It was so incredible because I applied. I have been wanting to apply for about 3 years now.
Oh, wow.
I applied now in Jan on the closing day.
Oh,
Closing day.
wow.
I'm going to do this. But I was actually shocked at how many of us have the same story about applying on the closing day. Actually, so a bunch of brave
Procrastination.
of fear, man. I think most of it is just a lot of fear. And soon after I applied, I got, I received my acceptance, and I still couldn't believe it. And you firstly get invited to castings, and we did castings. I went with my husband and we did our casting, and I became a Mrs. South Africa semi-finalist, and it absolutely blew my mind. So I think one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to apply for Mrs. South Africa is because I really need space to amplify
Yes.
my voice,
Mm.
essentially. And I found that collaborations are the best way to kind of do that. But a pageant also, can we do this?
The
Um,
body was bodying at that pageant.
do we believe that we've got what it takes to make it? So it's also such a beautiful validating experience for you just as a woman as well. I've never done something like that, girl. I grew up as like a tomboy. I like this being a mom vibe, and really just womanhood, and accepting that part of myself, that feminine,
Yeah.
like just leaning into my femininity, only came because of being a mom. I was like, wait, I'm teaching these girls what womanhood looks like. So let me see what it looks like to embrace it within myself. And it led
And
me
that's so
on
beautiful.
a whole Mr. South Africa, and it was incredible. I was surrounded by not only beautiful women, but every woman on a mission.
Mm.
I was surrounded by women on a mission, and it was absolutely inspirational. But
Oh.
I kind of bit off more than I could chew.
That sounds like classic Tasman 101.
That sounds like exactly what it. Thank you for that vocabulary. I really did. I really did, and I think that's why it was so difficult for me to pull out. Because I pulled out like not too long after that. Like I had to.
Oh, so that's what happened. I was so sad when I saw that, but
Yeah,
I just assumed it was
yeah, no, I
maybe
had to
she's
pull
not what
out.
they're looking for. But for us, you'll always be Mrs. South Africa.
There still, even at church, I still have people who are like, "Oh, Mrs. Africa," I'm like, "Stop it!"
You know what? I think you should do it again. When you have the mental capacity, do it again.
I don't think so.
You don't
I
think?
don't think so. No, I don't think I have. I don't think I have the tenacity for it. Also, like in perspective, I think I could
Mm.
really go far in the pageant, but like the amount of work that's going on in the
Uh,
background to that is.
a lot.
Yes. So I was in the middle of the fifth season of Big Brother at the time. So I work on the projects like so every 3 months. So it was Big Brother Mzansi now, and I did that in the midst of Big Brother, right? Because
Ah.
I can do all things through
Your plate must be overflowing.
can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So Christ strengthened me, and I did like there's a workshop weekend that we had to do for Mr. South Africa, Saturday and a Sunday. It was so fun, and I was working on both days.
Oh my goodness.
I was still logged into Big Brother, and I was really just showing up. I don't know
Wow.
how I
It
did that.
sounds like a lot.
Like juggling, juggling, and juggling. And I didn't drop a ball, except I dropped myself because I woke up the Monday after that
Mm,
and I was beat.
I
I was
can
beat.
imagine. I can
Like, wow.
imagine.
That Monday I couldn't do nothing. So it was also just a bit of that. And I was still continuing with the delusion that I can make it. As well, but then you have honest people around you also that are like,
Yeah, I'm glad.
this something, yeah. And then you pull out, and then you kind of view it in retrospect. You're like, okay, it worked out just as it
The way
needed
it
to.
should
And
have.
all I needed from it was the maybe the validation from the experience, and just your people's love. That did something for me. That made me believe it so much more in the work that I'm trying to do, because I was like, yo, the support is so immense. So let's do it.
Oh man, I love it. I love that you got the validation because, like you're saying, like doing the social media thing, it tends to be lonely because it's just you putting out work and
Mm,
hoping that it's resonating with someone. And sometimes it is good to hear that, hey, you are
yeah,
doing a good job and what you're doing does
yes.
matter. It's not just you and the camera vibing together.
No, no. And because it can feel like that. Sometimes you like feel so ridiculous doing these monologues. Like I
Mhm.
hate monologues so much. Like I don't like talking by myself, but I'm like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. People don't believe me when I tell them. They're like, oh, it looks like it's your thing. I'm like, yeah. Like when I'm finally doing it, it's like, okay, let's do it. But
Yeah.
point of like just sitting and talking by yourself. I think now I did another monologue where I did a YouTube, because I'm trying to do those monologues kind of
I
YouTube stuff.
saw I saw the recent one.
And and it was fun when it was happening, but now I'm like, oh, now I have to do another one,
Another
and
one.
a monologue. So I'm like, oh, what other ways can we be on YouTube? So
Mm.
StreamYard told you
Yes.
yes. Told you.
I love it.
Yeah,
Karabo,
so
I think you and I are going to have to do a part two at some stage because there are definitely more things that I want to get into it with you because we did
yeah,
mention that you're an author as well and you're talking about writing a book. So I think we
yeah,
have to come back and circle back around that. But I
let's do
think what we have now has been so amazing and
yeah.
just shining the spotlight on motherhood and mental health on that, and of course the adding a little bit of fun with the Mrs. South
Yes,
Africa. So I
yes.
love that. Thank you so much for joining me, but before we go, let the
Huh?
listeners know where they can find you.
So you guys can find me on Black Mom Chronicles. So that's on all the platforms. That's where you can find me. Facebook, Instagram, and then you can find me having fun on TikTok as well. Karabo Mokoena is my name on TikTok. That's where I have fun and sing and dance and do all the other cool stuff that are not always too serious.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but you can check out my website. That's www.blackmomchronicles.com. And that's where I really just share the stories and share you know, articles around, you know, what are triggers, understanding trauma, you know, because that's the work of conscious parenting and mental health. Essentially, it's just getting to the root of what our challenges are, and a lot of the times it's trauma. So we really just need to keep informing ourselves about that. So those are the yeah, that's the content that I create on my website. But yeah, slip into the DMs if you ever want to chat. Like, I'm that girl. Like, I'm really just that girl. Slip into my Instagram DMs if you want to ask me something, want to tell me something, want to chat to me about something. I'm really always open to sharing. Yeah, I'm not a celebrity.
I love that. You really are so chilled and down to earth. Eh? Really, really, really.
So let's chat. Let's chat. That's what I want to do. That's why I'm on this. I'm building community. I'm not just building a little thing that people can just watch, but engagement is really important for me. So let's engage.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody for joining us. You've been listening to the Life, Love, Everything podcast with me, Tasmin Bota.